So for those of you who you've been looking for a solution to your side cover security issues, I hope this video helps you out. What's up, everybody? You're Goldwing with Derek T. And there's a reason why I'm saying what's up, everybody, instead of just what's up, YouTube. Because Goldwing with Derek T now has its own page on Facebook and also on Instagram on IGTV. You can catch my videos on IGTV. You can catch a few of them on Facebook as well. And just expanding out. And making Goldwing with Derek T a bigger brand than it already is. And so thank you all for your support. If you're watching this on YouTube, on any of the platforms really, I would really appreciate it if you would go right now, if you've been tuning in and watching the videos and everything else, commenting and liking. One of the things that I'm noticing is that on YouTube, my analytics page, roughly about 88% of the views that are coming in are from people who are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're watching these and you have been watching these, I would really appreciate it if you would go right now, before we even get into the meat and potatoes of this video, go right now, click that subscribe button. That will really help me out tremendously. I really, really appreciate it. We're up to about 555 subscribers, on our way over 1,000. The goal is 1,000, and then we'll set a new goal after 1,000. But yeah, if you all will go right now and click subscribe, that would really be a blessing. So thank you for those of you who already have, and thank you for those of you all who are doing it as you're watching this video. Today's mission is side covers. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm referring to anybody who has this bike knows what this side cover is, and you understand what the issue with those side covers are. Today, on my way over to my brother's. All right, sorry about that. Stalled out a little bit. But on our way over to my brother's house, he has a very creative solution, one that we learned at the roundup from a couple other guys down at Goldwing guys down at the roundup in Perry, Georgia. And he already has done his solution to his side cover issue. So since his bike was the guinea pig and it worked, I'm taking mine over there to do the same thing. Here, I'll show that to you on your screen right here. You place the screw into the side cover, and actually that's going all the way into the frame of the bike. And that screw will hold that side cover in place. That was one of the things that it happened actually on the way to Perry, but it's been happening like a few times. I think on the M&M leather ride in the list of my videos, the side cover blew off and I was able to catch it and kind of hold it on my lap until we got into a certain place. And then it happened to me on the way home from Steubenville, Ohio. I was riding with a couple of friends and it happened to me again, and same thing, I was able to catch it and hold it in place until I was able to secure it, put it in the trunk, believe it happened to me on the Presque Isle beach ride too, the one where I rode up to Erie to the beach. And so it's a design flaw in these GL1500s that when you put those, even with the rubber grommets on there, when those pegs go into the rubber grommets, if enough air at highway speed gets underneath that side cover, which it has a tendency to do, that side cover's coming off. And they're not easy to replace. And what I mean by easy to replace is they cost probably in the ballpark of about $150 for a pair of them. And in some places, in some cases, I've actually seen them that high for one of them. And so what I'll do is I'll put a link to where I got my chrome ones. My black ones, my black one fell off and got ruined. It got ran over by the car that was behind me at the time, and so I ended up going with a chrome set of them that I bought on Cycle Max. And so I'll drop a link in the description to that particular part there. So yeah, going today to get this taken care of. The trip to Perry went off without a hitch, but it was not without incident, if that makes any sense. That is, the bike performed flawlessly. Had no technical problems with the bike at all. Put a lot of work into this bike and making sure that it would perform, being that far away from home. I'm not gonna lie, I had a little bit of anxiety, not about being that far away from home, but being that far away from home on a bike. In particular, being that far away from home on a 24-year-old bike that, 23, that I did not get a chance to really test ahead of time. I took a few short rides, but that was the farthest I had ever been away from home on this bike, and it performed flawlessly. And so I'm going to do a review video, because it's been a little bit more than a year since I've had this bike, and I just want to talk about what's the good, the not so good, and the lessons, and honestly what my feelings are about it, and what my plans are for the future. So that, keep your eyes tuned for that video. It'll be coming out probably in the next few days after this one comes out. I don't know why I'm in traffic heading into the city at this time of day. It's not 1:25 in the afternoon. That clock is wrong. It's 5 o'clock. It's 10 after 5 right now. You would think the traffic would be heading out of downtown Pittsburgh, not into downtown Pittsburgh. I know it's Friday and everything. So Operation, we're going to call this Operation Side Cover Security. That's what we're going to call this for the GL1500. Two ongoing issues that I've had with the bike. This bike, the GL1500, since I've had it. Got it in, I think it was June of last year, 2020, when I picked this bike up. The two ongoing issues were alternator issues. I don't want anybody judging me right now, but I've actually been through 4 of them in the last 12 months, but I found out that my problems were self-inflicted, and you can go back and watch the later audio upgrades episodes. I believe they were 4 and 5. You can see what the final solution to that was as far as my alternator issues, of which I've had none ever since fixing the issue. But like I said, those were completely self-inflicted, and that's just me learning some lessons that I didn't know from some people who are pretty knowledgeable and pretty professional with regard to motorcycle electronics. And so now I am very comfortable and very confident in my bike's ability to pretty much take me anywhere. And we're going to put that theory to the test, because next year next year, there are 2 opportunities for me to travel from here in Pittsburgh to the state of Louisiana, and a lot of that will really depend on what the weather's doing. I know right now they're expecting some hurricane level weather, and so I wouldn't want to be down there right now, and we pray the safety and security for everybody who lives down that way. But if things work out, Wingding is in Shreveport, Louisiana in June, and the National Biker Roundup for next year is in Baton Rouge in August. And so I'm actually looking forward to both of those events and planning accordingly. But like I said, I'm 150% confident in this bike's ability to take me anywhere now that I have a few states on my resume. Speaking of the states that I have on my resume, I'll start with where I picked up the bike, and that was in Ohio. I actually bought this bike from somebody in Youngstown, Ohio. So I have Ohio, and I've been to Steubenville and Cleveland and a couple of other places in Ohio, Columbus, Zanesville. This bike has seen quite a bit of the state of Ohio. Like I said, when I bought it, I had to have the title transferred from the state of Ohio to the state of Pennsylvania. So I have Ohio on the resume. I have Pennsylvania, obviously. This is where I'm from, this is where I live, this is where I garage it. And then adding to that from the trip to Perry will be West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And I'm looking forward to any opportunity that I get to add more states to my resume. Couple of things. And number one, I'm not a brand ambassador for Honda. Let me start there. Yeah, Goldwing is obviously a channel that I've devoted to the journey of motorcycle ownership with this GL1500, which is a bike that I love, but I am not a brand ambassador for Honda. Honda does not pay me to produce these videos. That being said, I also do not have any experience riding a Harley Davidson at all. I don't. I know plenty of people who do, and I've seen some very nice ones, and I even passed on a couple of opportunities to own one. But I don't have any Harley Davidson experience in ownership, that is. But what I will say is we went down to Perry, and several guys riding Harleys, their bikes did not make it all the way back to Pittsburgh without issue or incident. There were 3 Goldwings, my brother and I, and one GL1500 trike. And to my knowledge, all of the Goldwings came back. Morris and I, my brother and I, came back together. And the Colonel, who's not a member of the Free Spirit, I believe he rode back with the Buffalo Soldiers. So he separated away from us. But to my knowledge, he made it back just fine, just dandy. But we cannot say the same for every Harley that made the trip with us. So as far as I'm concerned, and I know a lot of people talk, oh, Goldwing versus Harley and Harley versus Goldwing. Hey, listen, ride what you ride. Ride what you ride. I can't spend your money for you. You can't spend your money for me. Well, you could spend your money for me. You can't spend my money for me. That's what I meant to say. But if you'd like to buy me a bike, by all means, I will drop my Cash App in the description. And hey, hands are always open to receive a blessing. But yeah, a couple of Harleys made the trip down and didn't make the trip back. And the Goldwings, the older Goldwings, the 23-year-old Goldwings did just fine. Went down and came back. And so I'm sold. I am officially sold. I'm a Goldwing guy. Although I got to admit, and I did a lot of talking on the way home on the, I believe it was the National Biker Roundup Part 4 or Part 5 when we were leaving Georgia. I did a lot of talking about the GL1500 Triken. I do believe I still want one, but I came across something that before the other day I had not really laid eyes on before, even though the bikes have been out, you know, for what seems like forever. Some of the sport touring machines, and let me tell you, I've been spending quite a bit of time on YouTube examining the Honda ST1300 and the Yamaha version of the Sport Tourer, the FJR 1300. And I gotta tell you, I believe I need to get to where I can physically see, lay my hands on, and possibly even test drive either one of those, because that actually, I might be on the ballpark of adding a Sport Tourer to my garage, maybe instead of the trike. Just don't know. I saw something, it caught my attention. I've heard nothing but good things. Looks like a really fun bike to ride. Got a little bit more traffic. But I believe I'm on the market, and I gotta, you know, the two bikes that like I said, I have been really, or manufacturers anyway, that I have any kind of experience with would be Yamaha. I owned a Yamaha V-Star that I sold shortly after I bought this bike. And then, but I rode that bike for a little more than a year. And I've had this one ever since. But then, like I said, the Honda product it just speaks for itself, sells itself, brags on itself. It just is, like certain people say, it is what it is. It's a Honda. So I don't see where I could go wrong in adding the Honda version of it, although, like I said, I have seen the Yamaha and it looks really nice too. I'm not a brand ambassador for either one, but I do believe the next edition, because here's the other thing, you can get them, you know, that's something that I know I can buy in a one-shot wonder kind of deal, and not be worried about making payments and everything else. I can go buy a warranty. But I have a very different outlook on creating bills and monthly payments and having to work and slave for other people in order to maintain a certain lifestyle and everything else. I really try to be as debt-free as possible. It's just traffic in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I try not to undertake very large amounts of debt, particularly not when it comes to buying a bike. And let me tell you why. Because bills and loans and debt and monthly payments, and don't get me wrong, if you have a mortgage, you know, by all means pay your mortgage. You need a roof over your head, pay your mortgage. Pay your rent. Whatever it is, you know, that's keeping a roof over your house, you need to make that happen for yourself. But those kinds of bills, they represent a certain amount of pressure, they represent a certain amount of stress, they can represent an amount of, like I said, just overall stress that can affect the quality of your life at certain points. I mean, how many of us have ever, you know, struggled and lost sleep over the fact that we didn't know how the next bill was going to get paid? And so, for something that I love to do, something that I've really grown to love to do, that's riding this bike in and out of town and spending time making these videos and everything else, this is the time to kind of escape all of that stress and pressure, even if it's just for a little while. And so I don't want to add the thing that I love doing, I don't want to add stress to that by having to make monthly payments and having to make a certain amount of money in order to be able to do it. I would rather save money, accumulate a certain goal, set a goal for myself, reach that goal, and then find the best bike that works for me in that particular budget and buy it. That's what I did with this bike. I set a certain amount of money aside and I went and purchased it. And then in order to reimburse myself for that purchase, I earned about roughly 60% of my purchase price back when I sold the other bike. So really only out of my pocket about 40% of what the former owner of this bike charged me to buy this bike. So that's my thoughts on purchasing motorcycles. Now, you know, there are people who do it. You know, they've got bikes out there that are 10, 15, 20, 30, you know, even $40,000 and even more, and people are borrowing money, banks, credit cards, loans, you name it, to make that happen for themselves. And hey, if that's what you do, that's what you do. You know, no judgment at all. I just don't feel like that's a smart decision for me to make, to be in debt over a motorcycle. I would much rather don't do that. Talking to the person behind me who thought they were going to get out in this turning lane and try to go around people, I kind of went over there to block them from doing that. But that's my thoughts. Like I said, what I've seen from the Yamaha the Honda ST1300 is that I can probably get one for in the ballpark of about $3,500 to $4,500, which in my world is an easy amount of money to come up with. So I think I would rather do versus putting myself in a position to buy the GL1500 trike, which is, I mean, let's just be honest, if you're going to do it and do it right, it's going to cost about 20 grand. That's going to take maybe a little bit longer to come up with, which is fine. I can be patient, but in the meantime, like I said, I saw it, I liked it, I want it, and usually when those three boxes are checked is when I go to make a move on it. So you'll know when that day comes, because there will be a premiere video about it, I'm sure. Then we may have to change and rebrand the channel to something other than Goldwing, and then I might need to start exploring names of the channel after that. It won't be just riding a Goldwing. But make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it at all. If I have to go out of town anywhere, this is the bike I'm doing it on. That's for sure. This GL1500 has earned its place in my garage and earned my 100% faith and confidence that I can take it anywhere and that it will take me anywhere. So the next thing would be, speaking of touring and traveling and going anywhere, going to have to go on and add a trailer to the setup as well. be doing that too, and kind of taking some time to learn how to pull it and learn all the dynamics of pulling a trailer while riding a motorcycle. So your boy's got some plans, but regardless of how big the plans get, you know, or just edit that part out. Got a whole lot of plans ahead of me. We'll see which ones pan out and which ones don't. But in the meantime, like I said, today's mission is, oh my God, the traffic. This is killing me today. But the mission for today is side cover security. Side cover security. That's what we're going to do today. This will be the very last time that I have to ride up and down the highway and worry about if my side cover is going to fly off or not. So for right now, I'm going to sign off, and I'll be back with you when I get out of some of this Pittsburgh traffic. All right, y'all, here we go. This is Operation Side Cover Security. I'm here with my brother, and he's already made a guinea pig out of his bike. But
the first thing that you want to do, I'm using a size 10 2-inch screw along with an insulating washer. It's a washer with a rubber backing. I'm going to first, to get a true and accurate measurement to see where I'm going to be drilling into. I'm going to drill somewhere in this particular area, so you just get a nice tight fit right there. So I'm looking about right here, right here, and so looks to be about, yep, it's gonna go in about right there. So we should be good. So I'll start out with a good drill and mark my spot with my fingerprint on this chrome cover. The chrome pulls in everything. I have a hard metal drill bit, and I'm going to take this directly into the frame. So obviously it went through this little plastic chrome cover real easy. And if I keep on going, now I'm into that frame. Real easy. That hole ended up being right here.
Nice.
So
okay.
I purposely bought a drill bit that's smaller than the size 10 screw, because the teeth on this screw are what's going to hold it into the frame. Okay. Let me get it. But if you look, if I take this screw and try and put it in there, you'll see that it's not going to go in. So I really need to make that hole just a little bit bigger, so that will go in. But as you see, you'll get a nice tight hole in there for your screw. So I just wanted to make sure that we're started pretty good. So now I'm going to wear the sides of that bit to make this hole just a little bit bigger. You can see it's already a little worn from where I did this with my particular bike, but we're just gonna go in here real easy. And then give it a little kind of circular motion to make that hole just a little bit bigger. So you don't want to make it too big. then it's important to keep checking because you don't want to make the hole bigger than your screw. And now I don't want to strip the head either, so it's still a little bit tight. So I'm going to drill a little bit more.
Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, because I am not the drilling and cutting person. But it's good to have a cut man. I'm not a boxer, but I still have a cut man.
So that's a really good size hole right there.
Yeah.
And as you see, you got a good tight fit on that screw. And really, you only need one to keep that side cover on, because we're talking about you have your grommet holes to hold this on, as well as that knob, and this is really just a security. So just this one screw right here will hold that thing on forever, and it's just long enough to hold it on. So now, as a test, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on. Get all the holes lined up, grommets in. Take this. Most guys that own this model bike know exactly why you would have a screw right there.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's really to hold it tight.
Absolutely. We met somebody in Perry, and that was the first thing that both of us noticed, was that he had a screw in his side cover.
That's not going anywhere. Can't even pull this off. You actually, to get to your battery now, you actually have to have a Phillips head screwdriver to take this screw in and out. Done deal.
Hey, you heard it here. The deal's done.
Want it to be black, or you know, if you get some chrome,
You all there?
spray paint, but
Is the screw right here. And as you can tell, that side cover is going nowhere. And that's important because to have it right here, because as air flows in underneath this plastic, that's what pulls the side cover off. So having that screw right there, especially air that's going in at 75 plus miles an hour. Not that I ever have ridden over 75 miles an hour, because I'm a law-abiding citizen. All right. There it is. And then what we'll do is we'll take a walk around here, and you'll notice on his bike he did the exact same thing. So for those of you, put this camera on. So for those of you who you've been looking for a solution to your side cover security issues, I hope this video helps you out. You all take care. I'll see you on the next video.